Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining us on our podcast, Stories of Success, Business SOS, where we interview successful business owners for successful business owners. Today we have with us Latoya Rozoff, and she is a successful business owner, and we want to pick her brain. Thanks for joining me, Latoya. How are you?
Thanks for having me. I'm good. Thank you.
Nice, nice. Well, we're glad that you are able to grace us with your presence. I'm just going to try to adjust my screen. The last time I had a meeting like this, my eyes looked like they kept going like this because of the Zoom setup. So I'm going to try not to jack it up. So why don't we start by you giving us a little bit about you. Who are you? What's your name? What's the name of your company? We'd love to learn.
Yes. So Latoya Rozoff. I'm an HR professional by trade, but I've always had a love for fashion. That came early as a young girl, watching my grandmother and my mother, two of the best dressed women get dressed. And, I had started just early, putting clothes together and fabrics together. And I kind of was the go-to person when people, hey, what should I wear? What do I want to do? And, does this look good? And so I had the idea to start a boutique from a trip to California. That's where my husband is from. And we go every year to meet family. And we always go down to the fashion district. And so one time I took a wrong turn and I went down the wholesale block. I didn't know it was wholesale block, obviously. And this lady, she was trying to sell me 4 pair of shorts for $20. And I didn't have a license or anything like that. But she kind of, quickly schooled me on the process, and it kind of got the wheels turning to open up a boutique. And then a few weeks later, we came home, and a few weeks later, a Shark Tank episode, and there was a boutique selling that was up in there talking about they had made $1 million on social media alone. And I didn't think the clothes were great. I won't say their name, but I didn't think the clothes were great. And I went back thinking hey, if she can do that with that type of clothes, I know my sense of style, I totally can make something profitable. And so,
Right.
of course, going into business, you have to find a problem that you're solving. And so I know that all women need a black dress. A black dress for a woman is what a black suit is for a man. It's a closet staple. You can wear a black dress to any occasion, whether that is work, church, night out, date night, whatever. There's always a opportunity to wear a black dress. And then my niche is curvy women. Just, once again, hearing, complaints about not being able to go to a mainstream store and have dress options. There are options for curvy women, but they're very limited. And so I kind of, took all that back. And so I am the premier little black dress shop for curvy women. So it's called 79 Rose Dress Shop.
That's a cool tagline. People don't realize just how valuable a tagline is. The premier little black dress for curvy women.
Yes.
That's awesome. That you touched on so many different things there, but I'm going to digress. That happens, so I'm going to try to stay focused, right? So tell us a little bit about the role you play in your business.
Yeah, so I'm the owner, and so I started selling dresses out of our guest room. I was so excited. I had my idea, yes, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sell black dresses. And so I started selling dresses out of my guest room. And so I had, women coming to the house, and it got to the point where my husband, I kind of outgrew the guest closet. And so my husband says, I never wanted a physical location because I didn't want the overhead costs. And so my husband said, why don't we find you a climate control storage unit? We'll move all your inventory there. You can meet your clients there, take it to their house, but you'll have a separate space, and you can expand. And then as I don't want to say luck, I think God had a different plan. We end up finding a space right around the corner from our house, a block away. It's a little office suite. And so I went in, and it's about 1,000 square foot. And so I went in, I'm this has the potential to be more than just storage. And so I ended up making that into a boutique, actual boutique by appointment. So expansion of the business, as you can say. And then last year, I started my website. So
Nice.
I think I answered the question. I'm sorry. I think I just started
You
talking.
digress
Sorry.
like I digress. No, cool. We were talking about your role. So you're the owner.
Owner. Yes,
And
I'm the owner.
Okay. And do you have staff, or is it just you right now? It sounds like your husband is involved.
Yeah, he's what they call a silent partner. So I'm
Okay.
with what you call a solopreneur. So I do everything. So I'm the owner, I'm the inventory buyer, I'm the
Okay.
stylist, I'm the salesperson, I'm the
And that's how
manager.
most of us start out, right? That's how most of us start out. So,
Yes, it
and you've
is.
actually, so when we chatted before, we talked about success, and I'm going to ask you that question going forward, but about success. We all have different understandings of what success means for us, where we want to be. But just going from your concept to selling out of your home to having a brick and mortar location, success, right?
Yes, yes,
You know, obviously at different levels, but you'll get there. So answer this question, and you mentioned it. You do have a website.
yes.
What's your website? Can you spell it out for our listeners or our viewers so that they can know where to go?
Yes, 79roze.com.
Okay, got that.
79rose.com.
79roze.com. And what's your business number?
913-515-5667. I'm located in Kansas City. 913-515-5667.
Awesome, awesome. If we order a dress from you, do we get some Kansas City ribs?
Oh no, I can't mail the liquids with the dress. Now I might send you a spice. I might send you a spice or Chiefs logo or something.
Oh, don't play. Okay. So how long have you been in business officially now?
It'll be 3 years this year.
Congratulations.
Yes.
That's nice. That's a nice milestone. This question is interesting. You kind of alluded to it. What makes you an expert in your field? So when you think about what you're doing, what makes you special?
I would say I'm actually I have a background. My undergraduate degree is in fashion merchandising and business, and so the start of my professional career, I worked for Talbot's, which is a women's dress shop.
Talbot's.
Yeah, I
don't know why I know Talbot's. I've seen it on the highway. I don't shop there, but okay.
Yeah, so you probably have people in your family that do. So I started there in my career. I was a manager there, and then I moved to another store called Halls, Kansas City, which is like the Nordstroms of Kansas City, and I managed 2 stores there. So I do have the experience running apparel, business. I think I would say Talbot's, the location I was at was like a $2 million revenue, and then the moving on to House, they probably did like $500,000. So I do have experience running an apparel company.
Awesome. I mean, and that's important, right? When you start a business, sometimes we have an idea, and sometimes we can even pull it off without having a lot of experience, but having the experience makes it a lot more easy for you to transition. It sounds like you've got that, you've got that part nailed as far as the experience. Obviously, running a business is a little different than working in a business in the industry, but it's going to make your transition that much smoother, which is probably why you're able to go from your doorstep or your front house to brick and mortar so quickly, which is cool. Yeah. So here's the question. I mean, this podcast is entitled Stories of Success. How do you define success in your business?
I think being able to keep a business going if you can get past that first year where everybody kind of throws in the tile, I think you have reached success. And it's not necessarily about profits. I mean, profits are important and revenue is important, but if you can sustain yourself past that first year, I think I would deem you as being successful, because running a business, there is nothing sexy about it. And I think people get into it thinking about, you're gonna make all this money, and it's like, it's not. If you are passionate about something, then you will ride the wave, because I mean, starting a business, you're gonna bleed money those first few years. That's just how it is, because you're establishing yourself, you're establishing your brand awareness. All of that comes at a cost. But
Process.
however, if you're consistent and it's your purpose, then I said you can ride that storm out and to become even more successful. So I would say being able to get past that first year. My mission, another reason why I started was to promote body confidence and self-esteem in women. Women are so naturally self-conscious about their weight and their size of clothes, and I wanted to create a brand that just empowers women to love their body just as God made them. No extensions, no fillers, just and I think if you go shopping, I mean, think about the psyche, how if you go shopping and you go somewhere and there's nothing for you to choose from, it has to mess with your psyche a little bit. And so that's why I wanted to also, like I said, create a brand that empowers women. And when I hear my customers come in and they leave and they send me texts and emails and say, you just don't know how much, what you did. To me, that's successful too, because I have achieved my mission.
Beautiful. So success is not, and that's an important point, success is not just making a huge chunk of change. Sometimes it's filling a need, right? Like you have a mission and you're able to meet that mission. And that's a beautiful thing when we think about success. So don't just tie it to your profit and loss, your net income, right? Like you said, you might even bleed money at the beginning. Success is not just one thing. Quality of life can be success. So you've discussed success in a couple of different ways. You've gotten past your first milestone and you're able to start to see your mission come to fruition, which is awesome. I just did a rap rhyme. Aha. So here's a question. I think you might have answered it. Do you consider yourself to be successful?
Yes, I do. And I say that to answer my why is because I am chasing a dream. And how many people can say they can chase a dream successfully? We all have dreams, and I know, like, when I started talking to people about it, I could tell the people who were like, yeah, right, you're going to start a boutique, you're going to start a dress shop. And here I am 3 years later, and financially, I might not be where I want to be, but I'm getting there. So yes, I do. I chase my dream. Chasing my dream. I have a 3-year-old, and I want to show him, what it means to have hard work. To hard work. If you having something that you want to do, and if you put, hard work and dedication, and you have a clear strategy, then you can achieve it. So for myself personally, I would say yes, I am successful.
Awesome. On my podcast cover, that business success starts here. It's a man on the mountaintop holding his briefcase up, right? He's successful. But that journey up the mountain doesn't mean he's not successful, right? He's successfully getting to the top. So it's nice. You're not at your top. You still have goals, but you are successfully traversing it. And that's really what this is all about. And so it's nice to see you seeing your dream become a reality. Now, all business owners, however, make mistakes. I can tell you millions. So I want you to just give us one mistake that you've had in your 3 years of business that you said, oh, what is that one mistake?
Oh, man, it's so many. I would say the very first one, if I had to give advice to anybody else, is do your research and understand who your target market is, because that's going to affect everything from your branding to your advertising to the stuff. So what I did, I jumped in and I started buying Black dresses that I thought was cute. And then there's, and I'm still 2 years later trying to sell them because I'm like, oh, this is cute. This is cute. This is cute. Didn't do any market research. I mean, I knew who my target market is, but I didn't look at the demographics. I didn't think about where she's shopping at and what events that she wanted to go to. I didn't think about her socioeconomic stat. Just all these things that are important and crucial to making sure you can market to the right consumer. So if I say anything, all kind of libraries, there's all kind of ways you can figure out who your target market is, but find your target market.
Beautiful.
Understand your why too.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. That's interesting because I have this ebook that I've written, the 5 keys that every successful business owner must know. Key number 1, know your customer, right? If you know your customer, then everything changes. And it's ironic. I've been in business now for, man, almost 20 years. And I'm still defining my ideal customer because it does evolve. But you can spend so much time making so many mistakes. So that's a good one. Thanks for bringing that one up. Here's my next question for you. What do you think is the single most important quality needed to be a successful business owner?
Ooh, grit.
I like it.
Grit.
I like
I mean,
it.
I say that because the journey is hard. It's like the people who you think is going to support you and back you up don't.
Yeah.
It's like the sacrifice of time, the sacrifice of your money, the sacrifice of sleep, the hustling that needs to be done. It's not for the weak. That's why I say it's nothing sexy about running a business. People think, oh, I want to do this, I'm gonna sell this, and it's hard, and it's hard, and it's hard. So I would say grit.
That is a good one. You know, it is not for the faint-hearted. Now, running a business, when you get it right and you're moving in that direction, but when it's perfect, oh, it's a beautiful thing. But it takes a lot to get into that beauty. You really gotta. Grit is a nice one. I like that. And even when you find your level of success, when you feel that you are successful, it's still a grind. You still gotta have a little grit. You're right. I like it. Have you had any mentors or coaches who contributed to your business success?
Yes. I invested in I invested in a business coach last year.
Okay.
She calls herself the fashionpreneur. She's a young lady out of LA who's fantastic. And so she mentored me for a little bit last year, and then, which I always tell anybody, investing, and please invest in yourself, invest in your business. And then I follow a lot of people on social media. There's another lady called Womenpreneur. That's another place I follow on social media that gives different, advice on businesses. So yes, it's a much needed investment, and
Awesome.
coaches are not cheap.
Not cheap. That's what I do. We're not cheap. And it's interesting. I say that because I'm a business advisor, but I'm still paying other business advisors to advise me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they keep using this expression. Michael Jordan, who I still think is the greatest of all time, had a coach all the way through his career. So don't cheap out on the most important things. And that's one of them. So you've seen how it's accelerated your business. So that's important. That probably ties into that other question, which was, what advice would you give to a new business owner? So I'm going to ask you this one instead. If you could go to right before you started your business, what advice would you give yourself?
Ooh. Right before I started my business, I would tell myself to, so much. I would tell myself to be patient with the process, and to be able to deal with isolation,
Okay.
and just and it's not isolation from a bad place, but being able to make decisions, and the stick up for yourself, and to have grit. Sometimes you're alone, because you have to take that journey that everybody else doesn't want to take, and sometimes you are by yourself, and it's okay. Just have patience. It's all gonna work itself out.
That's nice. That's nice. Okay, I'm gonna tell you this joke. I'm a corny jokester, but there's this line in this movie in Ray, and what you just said makes me think of it. He was arguing with his wife, and he said, "When I walk out the door, I walk out alone in the dark." That's like my favorite line, because everything he did, it was just him, right? He couldn't see. But
Yeah.
he accomplished great things. And when he said that line, I was like, oh, but that makes me think of what you just said. You will be alone. And you might be full of people, a room full of employees, but as an owner, you can't talk to them about everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have concerns about cash flow this month, you can't talk to people about that necessarily, right? If you have worries about inventory management, you can't talk to everyone. So there will be a lot of alone time. If you're starting your business, keep that in mind. You can find people, but it does take a little bit of work. So just be prepared. That's really nice. So
And
we have
stop
one.
getting advice from people who are not business owners.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Who are you telling? The one thing I hate is when I'm doing something for a client and they say, oh, but Johnny said, does Johnny own a business? Right? You know, does Johnny have cash flow? Stop it. Stop it. Try to keep, you know, I always say when it comes to when I'm picking a coach, whatever, even my own coach, when I pick that horse, I ride that horse. I'm not looking to switch in the middle because you'll never get anywhere. So try to stay focused. Follow one voice. If you find after a little bit that it's not leading you, okay, then switch. But don't try to listen to 5 people at the same time. It's very counterproductive. So that's really good. This is our bonus question. So every week I host a roundtable. I call it Friday Focus Forum. I got to remember that. And it probably will change from Friday because there's one gift that I give myself. I don't work on Fridays after tax season. But anyway, the forum is all these different business owners, as many as we can get. We sign up, do a Zoom meeting like what this is right here, and we just kind of vibe. We talk about business in general. We talk about the challenges we might be facing, the goals that we have, and we answer questions that arise. But I like to start each session with a weekly vibe. Basically, it's some quote, some question that we can all talk about for a few minutes before we get into all kinds of various issues. The question that we talked about last week, or the quote, and I want to get your thought, was this: a confused buyer never buys. Okay, so if you hear that, and you might have already answered it, how would you apply that to your business? A confused buyer never buys.
I would make sure, one, that my advertising and my marketing is clear, because they're confused. Yeah, if they're not making any moves to purchase, then what my mission, what my goal is not very clear to them. So one, make sure that my mission is clear, and two, make sure that they're my target market. Like, one thing I've learned is that everybody's not your customer, and it's okay if they want to move on. But so yeah, so right, I'll say, yeah, make sure the marketing is clear. Make sure your vision is clear. Make sure your message is clear. Make sure your brand image is clear.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yes. So that's where we end our questions. Latoya, thank you so much. You gave us a lot of gems today. And I think that if someone takes the time to listen to this, they're going to be taking notes on what you said. Sooner or later, you might end up being a coach yourself to help other young people start their own dress shops and clothing places. On Facebook, I run into a lot of people who have clothing lines. Mm-hmm. They can learn so much from you. So I'm just grateful that you gave me a few minutes. I'm grateful that we were able to do this, and I look forward to seeing your future success.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. Thank you.
Thank you. We're looking forward to it. Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.